Vortex launched a new pistol optic a few months back, so let's talk about it. So for some background, I got both of these optics from Vortex for TNE before the launch. First thing I noticed about the Defender-CCW is the unboxing process and everything that comes with it. I realize not everybody will care about this, but frankly, I think the presentation here easily outdoes any other optic I've received. Immediately when you open it up, you'll see a QR code that takes you to online instructional material, and below that is the manual that I did actually in fact read. It also comes with a rail mounting plate, a 1-degree shim plate that helps you zero the dot on certain guns where you need more elevation adjustment, and the best part, you get a ton of really high quality screws. They are all pre-Loctited Torx head screws, individually packaged and labeled by the type of gun they are used for. And you get 2 packs of screws per gun in case you lose some. The metal optic tool it comes with is also awesome. You can use it to open the battery door, zero the optic, and tighten the screws. But the tool is actually softer than the screws, so if you ignore the torque spec, as some people do, in the manual and you accidentally over tighten the screw, the tool will actually strip out instead of the screw, so you don't end up with a stripped screw stuck in your slide. But you should definitely use a torque wrench. Every optic company should be taking notes on all of this. Honestly, really any company selling products that require any level of customer service should be taking notes on this presentation. And the reason that I'm so complimentary of this presentation is because a lot of people are buying optics for the first time, and this gives them literally everything that they need to get started the second they open the box. I have definitely been a beginner a whole lot lately, and there's really something to be said for buying something from a company that basically removes all of the guesswork. Super well done there. Now let's talk about some of the face value features on this optic. You can get either the 3 or the 6 MOA versions, and if I had to pick one, I would probably go with the 6 MOA personally. It's a Shield RMS RMSC footprint, features a total of 10 brightness settings, 8 for daylight use and 2 for night vision. Texturing on the face of the optic for super duper tactical one-handed racking, polymer insert on the top to absorb shock from drops, shake awake technology. Vortex doesn't seem to advertise battery life on their website, but I've had mine on the middle daytime brightness setting since January and it still hasn't died. However, I am hearing other reviewers complaining about battery life, so that may be something to kind of keep an ear out for. 14-hour shutoff. Although for a carry gun, it will almost never sit for 14 hours to take advantage of this feature. Installation on this was super easy because, like I said, they provide you with everything that you'll need. Well, besides the torque wrench, of course. The screws fit perfectly, unlike some other brands that I've used recently. I just followed the torque spec in the manual to mount it onto my Langdon Glock 48, and it was off to the range for zeroing. When I went to zero this optic, I used the shim plate because I've never used one before and I thought it would be fun to try something new. The first thing I noticed when I went to zero it though was that there was very little tactile feedback when I was adjusting it. Not a big deal, but definitely worth noting. I would definitely prefer to feel more of a click as I make those small adjustments. The brightness buttons are better in that way. They are well placed and have a nice click. Overall, the zeroing was a breeze, the screws worked great, and boy is the glass super clear, crisp, and the window itself is actually pretty big too. First 500 rounds through both optics. This is where I started to notice my big problem with this optic. The dot noticeably flickers, like a lot. If I understand it right, instead of actually making the emitter brighter or dimmer, when you adjust the brightness, the dot flickers at different rates to trick your eye into perceiving a brighter or dimmer dot. And that works fine when the dot isn't moving, but when it is moving, like when you're shooting, you don't see a streak like with most dots. You just see a cluster of dots with no way to really tell which one is the right one that you're actually shooting with. Most people aren't shooting fast enough for that to become an actual problem, but it can definitely get annoying. It's certainly more for your eyes to visually process, which in my opinion kind of detracts from the overall benefits of using an optic in the first place. I shot a total of 500 rounds through each of these optics, and no matter what, I was always noticing the dot flicker. Unfortunately for me, that was kind of it. Even at the price point of about $250, all the cool stuff it comes with and the well thought out features, it just isn't worth it to me over a 407K. And that's what it ultimately kind of came down to for me. Would I use or recommend this optic over the 407K? And the answer for me was no. That being said, this is a huge step in the right direction for Vortex. They were so close to making this amazing, and I hope that they can keep improving this optic and make something better in the future that doesn't have these issues. Thanks guys for watching this overview, and I'll see you in the next video.